This is Kronos' living will. He is little but an extension of the Titan himself, but is significantly less powerful. He has the power to take other forms and uses these forms to deceive mortals. When Kronos is freed, he will return to his master and continue to serve. Falstag was infamous among the human inhabitants of icy Midgard as a troublemaker and destroyer of homes. After the great Atlantean hero Arkantos stopped Gargrensis from bringing Ragnarok upon the earth, Falstag rethought his hatred of humankind. Through a series of events, including taming Needhawk, he won the favor of the Midgardians and united the giants and Norsemen in peace. Her name means heritage of the gods. Once a powerful member of the sisterhood of the Valkyrie, Reginleif served Odin by capturing the souls of warriors for his armies in Valhalla. Reginleif fell from grace from unknown events and seeks to redeem herself in Odin's eyes by delaying Ragnarok. Cersei was a daughter of Perse and the sun god, Helios. She is renowned for her encounter with Odysseus and for her knowledge of magic and poisonous herbs. While she imprisoned Odysseus and his men for many years, she later purified the Argonauts for the murder of Apsyrtus. Odysseus and Circe bore several children, among them Telegonus. According to some myths, Telegonus later tracked down Odysseus, but killed him with a spear made of a stingray spine before recognizing his own father. Odysseus' body was returned to Aeaea to be buried. Brock is a smith, statesman and reluctant hero of the dwarves. Although the role of leader was not wanted, Brock takes it upon himself to help maintain the Norse way of life for his people. Ever since learning of his distant relationship to Thialfi, a servant of Thor, Atri believes he is a true hero. Although timid by nature, Atri will do all that is needed of him to help prevent Ragnarok from ever becoming a reality. Atri is scared to death of trolls and anything with sharp teeth and pig eyes. Chiron was originally a god of healing in Thessalian mythology, but later became an immortal centaur in the more widely accepted Greek mythology. Although centaurs were usually wild and unruly, Chiron was the exception. He was noted for being wise and his knowledge of healing was legendary. He was the tutor of many notable heroes, including Theseus and Achilles. A native of the city-state Iaclos, this old man used to make his living picking berries on the steep, rocky cliffs of the port town. Most of his family was killed by the bandits who invaded after the Greek armies left for Troy. He has fallen into madness and scurries around the docks calling warnings to any and all that he sees. This cantankerous old man seems knowledgeable about his homeland and is at least willing to share his campfire with those who can protect him from rampaging giants. After meeting Amanra in Egypt, Arkantos was hoping to meet a Norse hero who was a little more impressive. Seated among the High Council of Atlantis, the Theocrat is responsible for security of the island state and to make sure the fickle Poseidon, patron of Atlantis, stays mollified. The Theocrat is symptomatic of the old aristocracy of Atlantis that has become proud, yet soft after decades of dominating the other city-states. Many tales are told in Egypt of Shaitna, the son of Ramses the Great, who is the wisest of all scribes. Tales are also told of his son say Osiris, the gift of Osiris, the wonderful child who, at the age of 12, was the greatest magician Egypt had ever known. Gargrensis is a Cyclops and a distant descendant of Poseidon. His great-grandmother, Amymone, was seduced by Poseidon, for which Gargrensis has never forgiven him. Rather than try to exact revenge against the sea god, the Cyclops figures Poseidon owes him. He wants nothing more than to be a god himself and will stop at nothing to achieve this. King of Mycenae and leader of the Achaean army, brother of King Menelaus of Sparta. Arrogant and often selfish, Agamemnon provides the Achaeans with strong but sometimes reckless and self-serving leadership. Like Achilles, he lacks consideration and forethought. His tactless appropriation of Achilles' war prize, the maiden Briseis, created a crisis for the Achaeans, when Achilles, insulted, withdrew from the war. Arkantos of Atlantis was born during a time of great turmoil. His homeland was under constant siege by enemy armies and often seemed on the verge of losing not only the colonies it had fought hard to establish, but also the very home island of Atlantis. Arkantos took up spear and shield at an early age, and quickly earned a reputation as a great leader and one favored by Poseidon, the father of Atlantis. By the twilight of these great wars, Arkantos had become so indisputably skilled in waging war that the Council of Atlantis named him admiral and placed him in charge of their entire military. With the homeland again safe, Arkantos embarked upon a campaign to search out and eliminate any enemies who still remained. Finally, there was no enemy capable of challenging Atlantis. In a time of peace, maintaining a large army no longer seemed necessary, and Arkantos himself seemed a relic of a bygone age. Kept around largely for gratitude for years of service, Arkantos now commands only a token force to fight off the rare bandit or pirate, including those that killed his wife and left his son, Castor, as his only heir. It seemed that Arkantos' days of glory had ended. But fate had something different in mind. The ruler of the island of Ithaca, Odysseus was one of the most prominent Greek champions in the Trojan War. The stratagem of the Trojan horse was his idea. Following the victory at Troy, he set out on his 10-year journey home, chronicled for all time by Homer in the epic poem, the Odyssey. Along the way, Odysseus and his crew had to deal with many adventures and misfortunes, some of their own making and some thanks to intervention of the gods. By blinding the Cyclops Polyphemus, they incurred the wrath of Poseidon, who troubled them for years. Thanks to help from Zeus and other gods, Odysseus arrived home alone to find his wife Penelope plagued by suitors. Disguised as a beggar, he first determined that Penelope had been faithful, and then slew the men pursuing her and cleansed his palace. This triggered a final battle against the families of the men killed, but peace was restored by Athena. Kamos was a minotaur calf when he was taken off an Egyptian fishing ship, and raised by the goddess Bast. For reasons unknown, Kamos harbors great anger and uses his background to lead Egyptian pirates in thievery and murder. He has attacked Atlantean trade ships on numerous occasions, but always retreats to one of his many island strongholds before Arkantos can catch him. Kamos lost his hand attempting to tame a leviathan by hand feeding it. Worshipper of Set, desert shadow, poisoner and assassin, Kempseed is a deadly enemy and a loyal ally. Kempseed hungers for power but lacks the strength to inspire and lead others. Still, his network of information and resources more than make up for his wheedling nature and cowardice. Kempseed and Amanra are old enemies who have fought many times, but Kempseed has always managed to escape. Amanra was raised by her father, a powerful man who led his tribe in battles to support the Egyptian people. She grew up with her father's fierce skill, and began to join in the battles in which her tribe fought. In time, Amanra became a legendary mercenary and a hero with the Egyptian people and servant of Isis and Osiris. She still has many loyal Egyptian followers today. Amanra's commander is a man of little competence and great girth named Fierce Nivis. Nivis rose in power largely through Amanra's skill in battle and her ability to speak the many Egyptian languages. Castor, although very brave and skilled, is not quite the warrior he thinks he is. He would love nothing more than to fight a war, side by side with his father, Arkantos. Castor's mother was killed by pirates raiding Atlantis when he was very young.